Over here.
Yeah. How strong is Demon Reach compared to Mab, Nicodemus, and all the other antagonists, Hairy Faces?
How strong is Demon Reach compared to Mab, Nicodemus, and all the other antagonists, Hairy Faces? That's depending on where you stand. Like, literally, your GPS coordinates. If you're in the right spot, don't mess with Demon Reach. And if you're not, who cares? He's one of those situations. If you want to go out to that island and play, you better bring your A game. Is the way it works out. Yeah.
Why did you choose Chicago as the base?
Why did I choose Chicago as the base for the Dresden Files? Because my teacher would not let me set it in Kansas City, my hometown. She says, Jim, I really think this is going to get published, and you are already walking close enough to Laurel Hamilton's toes that you do not need to set your series in Missouri as well. Pick another city. And I said, what other city? She said, any other city. It doesn't matter, just not there. I'm like, okay. There's a globe on her desk. It's got 4 American cities on it. I don't want to do New York because superheroes have that all sewn up. I don't want to do DC because then you have to write politics, and you're going to lose people who don't like you, who don't like your politics, wherever you stand. Los Angeles was on the map, but I didn't want to do Los Angeles because then you have to find out about Los Angeles. And you know, and they've got Hollywood and everybody to find out things about them for them. They're fine. So the last city there was Chicago. I said, how about Chicago? And she said, yeah, that'll be fine. I said, okay. Guess I better learn about Chicago. Somewhere around book 3, I actually did that. I mean, beyond like consulting maps and so on, that was around the time where the internet was actually starting to come into full swing, and I was able to make contact with people who actually live there and be able to say, hey, I need to know what the east wall of Grayson Cemetery looks like. Oh, yeah, I drive by it on the way to work. I'll take a picture on my phone, and I will email it to you by lunch. It's like, wow. It is a great day in which to be a writer. I'm going to get some of these folks over here. I didn't realize they were standing there, so I wasn't picking anyone. Right here.
Yeah. You said there's an end in sight. How many more books of Harry we're looking forward to? 5 to 10?
How many more Dresden Files? I'm going to write about 20-ish of the case files like we've seen so far. There are a few things that can change that, including parts of the story that I haven't realized I have to tell yet, or my son going to graduate school. But then after we're done with the case books, then I'll write a big old apocalyptic trilogy to kind of capstone the whole thing, because you know, who doesn't love apocalyptic trilogies? But, you know, that'll be the point at which we're bringing, you know, aircraft carriers and space shuttles into the story. So, you know, well, I guess not space shuttles, really. We'll have to figure something out.
Yeah, that's faster.
Obsolete enough technology, maybe it would work. Oh, yeah, it's certainly going to be more robust than anything brand new. Right here with the crew cut. Holding books up. Why hasn't Harry gone, hey, I've been touching an evil coin inhabited by a spirit that drives people crazy and turns it. Oh, the thing with the necktie? Like, why hasn't Harry gone screaming it to everyone? Because, come on, man, he's a wizard. Wizards don't tell you things. Wizards deliberately don't tell you things and then feel smug about it. Actually, he probably didn't tell, he probably didn't tell the White Council because he figures, hey, maybe I'll need a necktie one day. He probably didn't mention it to Michael because it probably just didn't come up, or he assumed Michael knew. Really, he kind of got lucky working it out. Although anybody who really stopped and thought about it, I think, could probably work it out. Guy running around with a hangman's noose around his neck. Choke him with it. I mean, really, that's not such a huge almighty secret, you know. Right here. Yes. No, all the short stories I write are by request of the whoever's putting the anthology together, and they usually say, and this is sort of a vague theme that we're using, and I'm like, great, here, You know, I can write a beer story, which is fun. The only time I've kind of made my own theme was for a trio of short stories that I'm doing for various anthologies right now, which is the Bigfoot trilogy of short stories. Bigfoot's a client, and that's about the only time I've done that. But yeah. Right here in purple.
Awesome. One of your books, awesome and nice shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to know, because on your blog from like 06, it said that you had worksheets, and I used those once. They didn't really work for me, but it's cool too. Where did you get the idea for Harry? Was it like a dream, or did it just happen?
Where did I get the idea for Harry? My teacher told me after several semesters of me writing books for her in her writing a genre fiction novel course, in which over the course of a semester you wrote a genre fiction novel, and that was the class. And if you finished the book, then you got graded on it, and if not, you failed. Yeah, it's like, here you go, get a book done. And she said, hey, you know, Jim, when we talk in class, you know, you're always talking about this trilogy of books that you really like called the Anita Blake novels, because there was 3 of them out at that time. And you're always talking about Babylon 5, and lately this year you've been talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Why aren't you writing something like that? I said, because I am a fantasy author. And she's like, well, you know, maybe you should think about doing that. Very diffidently put, because she worked out at this point that if you tell me to do something, I have to do the other thing, just by reflex. And so finally that semester I decided that I was going to prove to her how wrong she was about all her writing theory. Her whole process and her whole everything. I was going to do it by being her good little writing monkey and doing absolutely everything she told me, all the worksheets and outlines and everything. And then she would see what awful, terrible, cookie-cutter crap comes out of that kind of process, and I wrote Stormfront. Which showed her. You know, I put Harry together out of Gandalf and Merlin and Sherlock Holmes and Spencer and Travis McGee. You know, I said, let me go find the best qualities from these long-running, successful hard-boiled private eyes and original Private Eye Sherlock. And let me go find all the qualities from them that they share in common, and then all the qualities from these classical wizards that people love as characters. And I found out that if you're a wizard, you have to be grumpy. There's no other recourse. Wizards are grumpy. And you've got to be nosy, and you've got to be a meddler if you want to be a wizard. There's no good wizard who's not a meddler. I mean, even Radagast was doing stuff, and he got mentioned like twice. And then when I went to Private Eyes, and what I found out about the most popular Private Eyes was one of their main traits was that they were tenacious. You absolutely cannot stop them from doing what they're doing. They're going to keep going no matter who gets in the way. That's 1. 2, they can all take a beating, and they get delivered horrible beatings left and right. Okay, so I had to have that. And then 3, all the ones that I like the most are willing to lip off to absolutely everyone at absolutely the worst time, every time. And so that was kind of that was my ingredients list for Dresden that I put together. And you know, so I made him tall like Sherlock and skinny like Sherlock and gawky and mouthy like the Private Eyes that I liked. And I beat him up a lot. I didn't realize until I made my son watch. He was 15, and I realized he'd never seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I said, "Stop! Sit down!" and he's like, "What?" So I've got to go to the store and get a copy of Raiders of the Lost Ark because we don't have one. But sit right there. and made him watch it, and I realized, oh my gosh, that's what Dresden is. He's Indiana Jones. We just keep getting him more and more busted up, and I'm making it up as I go along. But anyway. Green shirt.
Now that Harry's working for the Winter Court, is he going to have to deal with a lot of things like, you know, paying rent and things like that? Or are they going to take care of that?
Spoilers. That's something that I'm gonna let you see, because it'll be more fun for you to see it than not see it. I do know. I'll tell you that Harry's going to look at his job. You know, when he his first day on the new job, he's going to look at it much as anyone would their first day in prison. But we should have a good time with that. At the very back, there's a hat and perhaps an umbrella. Yeah, there you go. Why did I cut my hair? Mostly to shock my wife. Plus, it was the tour for changes, and I thought it would be thematic. But yeah, I walked out of the house with the hair down to the small of my back and the big old full beard because I hadn't done anything to it in a while because I've been writing. And walked out with it like that. Came back, crew cut, clean shaven, and waited for the explosion of oh my gosh. And we had one of those conversations where she doesn't look up from what she's doing for like 20 minutes. I finally got tired of waiting. And, finally, like 20 minutes after that, she looks up and goes, "Oh my God! If I had been having a conversation with you, I would have shot you." But I kind of dig it. There's a lot to be said for, I need to comb my hair. Where's the damn washcloth? Done.
2 more questions?
Okay, a couple more, and then we'll start getting the sign in so we won't have you up till all hours. So, right here. Glasses.
Are we ever going to find out more about why Bob's so squirrely about the winter court and why he doesn't want to talk about Mab and
Are we ever going to find out more about why Bob is so squirrely about the winter court and why he's nervous about Mab and so on? Yeah. Yeah, next book is pretty much going to be our winter court book, so yeah, assume that's true. And let me see, something we haven't got yet. Okay, right over here. What exactly did I do for fencing? I did epee and foil in college. I graduated from that to LARP fencing, which is fencing with Nerf swords, and which is actually there's a very strong correlation if you're in a system where you can hit people on the fingers. After that, I shipped to a different LARP game where finger hits don't count, and so it's a much more dramatic kind of style of fighting, which I still do. In fact, I went mad with Power when the series got popular, and I bought a farm for us to go LARP on. So I actually own a 160-acre farm, about 140 of which is 200-year-old forest, and it looks like Last of the Mohicans in there. It is awesome. We go LARP in there, and we'll chase each other through the woods at night, with no lights and Nerf swords.
Like you do.
Like you do, which is fun. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for the questions. I'm sorry, we got to stop this. But, if you want to ask me questions real quick while I'm signing, feel free. So, as you come by, and I'll give you as much answer as I can.
Before you all move. Yes. Okay.